All right, we're picking up again with 6.2 on adding and subtracting rational expressions. Remember, to do any of these problems, the denominators need to be the same. If we look at problem 5, we see that w minus z and z minus w are almost the same, but one is written opposite of the other. That's the key word. One is written opposite of the other. Remember, we said that expressions that are reversed around subtraction are opposites. So there's a quick fix here. I can leave the first one the same. And this one, I really want to make look like that one so that I have like denominators. So I'm going to change it to w minus z. The top will still be z squared. And what we know about opposites is opposites differ by -1. So I'm going to change my plus sign to a negative. So if I ever see opposites in my denominator, I will take the one after the operation, turn it around to match the first, and change the operation I was asked. Now I have like denominators, so I can write one fraction. I can write w squared minus z squared over w minus z. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my fraction is in simplest form. I do that by looking to the numerator and seeing if it factors. Well, this is a difference of squares, so it does indeed factor. W plus z, w minus z over w minus z. I then want to cancel out common factors, so my w minus z's cancel out, and I'm left with w plus z as my final answer for number 5. Problem 6. I can look at those denominators and know right away they are not the same. The only way to make them the same is to first factor these trinomials both completely. This negative I'm also going to pull up here so I don't lose it. So I'm going to write negative a over. I'm going to factor this out. So I want to find a way to multiply to 4 and get back to 3. So I'm going to do plus 4 minus 1 minus 4a over. I'm going to factor the second trinomial. So I want to multiply to 12 and get to 7. So I'm going to use a plus 4. A plus 3. Now I need to make these denominators the same. So the best strategy that I can tell you is whatever factor is here that's not here is what needs to be gained. So my LCD is a plus 4, a minus 1, a plus 3. So here, I'm missing an a plus 3. So I need a plus 4, a minus 1, a plus 3. Whatever I put in the bottom, I must also put in the top. So I'm going to multiply negative a by a plus 3. The other one is missing an a minus 1. So I'm going to do a plus 4, a plus 3, a minus 1. It doesn't matter the order in which these factors are written. You can tell that this is not the same order, but they are identical in all 3 factors for both denominators. Now, I added a minus 1 down here, so I'm going to take 4a times a minus 1. Once you get to like denominators, you're in a position to draw one fraction bar and say that my denominator is a plus 4 times a minus 1 times a plus 3. Now, to work the top, I need to distribute. I'm going to distribute and get negative a squared minus 3a. When I distribute 4a, I need to be careful to take my negative along with it. So I get minus 4a squared. A negative 4a times a negative 1 is a positive 4a. What I want to do now is combine any like terms in the numerator. So I can say negative 5a squared plus a over a plus 4 a minus 1, a plus 3. Now remember, you always want to check to see if your fraction can be simplified. We check for simplifying by factoring the top and seeing if that helps us cancel. Well, the top shares an a, but factoring out a won't produce anything that will cancel with any of these denominator factors. So I have already a simplified answer. Problem 7. Problem 7, I'm going to look at x minus 4 as being together, x plus 5 as being together, and this I'm going to factor. Remember, when you want to make common denominators, you start by factoring your denominators first. So I'm going to do x plus 5 and x minus 4. So this is out now. If this denominator has both of these, then these first two denominators also need both of these. So this first one is missing x plus 5. If I put it in the bottom, I must put it in the top. So I get x times x plus 5 over x minus 4 times x plus 5. The middle one is missing x minus 4. So I'm going to put x minus 4 in the top and the bottom. The third fraction has everything that I need. So right now I'm just copying it down as it is already presented. Remember, when you get to the same denominators, you can draw one fraction bar and write x minus 4 times x plus 5 as your common denominator. To work the top, I need to distribute and see what I have. So I get x squared plus 5x plus 5x minus 20. Now right here, careful, you got to distribute that negative across. Get negative 11x plus 8. I'm going to combine like terms. So I get x squared. This is 5 and 5 is 10. 10 from 11 is minus x. 8 from 20 is minus 12. Denominator is still what it was before. Remember, have to check if these can be simplified. So we check by seeing if the top factors. And in fact it does. X minus 4, x plus 3 over x minus 4, x plus 5. These are shared and cancel. My final answer is x plus 3, 3 over x plus 5. Remember, the x's cannot be canceled because you may not cancel through addition. All right, let's do two more. Problem 8. Problem 8 first begins by checking across your denominators and seeing if any of them factor. Well, this one has a greatest common factor, so I can take out w and get w times w plus 4. Now my LCD here, this has a 5, so everything will need a 5. This has a w, so everything will need a w, and we need a w plus 4. So my common denominator is 5w times w plus 4. This already has w plus 4. It's missing 5w. So if I put that 5w in the bottom, I must also take 6 times 5w. Because if I put it in the bottom, I must put it in the top. This one has 5w, needs w plus 4. So I'm going to take 3 times w plus 4. The third one has the w, and it has the w plus 4. It's missing 5. So I'm going to say 5w times w plus 4, and I'm going to take 11 times 5. Now, remember, at this point you can draw one fraction bar because your denominators across are all the same. I'm going to get 30w plus, I'm going to distribute, 3w plus 12 plus 55. Now, I'm going to combine like terms. So I'm going to get 33w plus 67 over 5w times w plus 4. Nothing factors from this numerator, so our answer is in simplest form. Next one. Next one, I begin by seeing x minus 2 is together, x plus 2 is together. This factors as a difference of squares, x plus 2, x minus 2. So my LCD would be x plus 2, x minus 2. So this one's missing an x plus 2. If I put in the bottom, I must multiply the entire original numerator by the same. So I'm going to take the entire x minus 1 times x plus 2 minus, the middle fraction is missing, x minus 2. So I'm going to take x plus 1 times x minus 2. The third one already has both of those, so I'm just going to copy it down. X minus 6 over x plus 2 times x minus 2. Now to continue, I draw one fraction bar and I say x plus 2 times x minus 2 is my like denominator. Now, to work out the numerators, I'm going to have to FOIL here, and I'm going to have to FOIL here, and then I'm going to have to remember to distribute a negative. So if I FOIL, I get x squared plus 2x minus x minus 2. If I FOIL here, I get x squared behind a negative, so I get negative x squared. I get negative 2x behind a negative, which is positive 2x. I get x behind a negative, which is minus x, and I get negative 2 behind a negative, which is positive 2. And then x minus 6, I'm just going to tag on the end. Now it's about combining like terms. So my x squared and my minus x squared cancel. Now I'm going to work across with my x's. So 2x minus x is x. X and 2x is 3x. 3x minus x is 2x. 2x plus x is 3x. So I get 3x for all these x's. Negative 2 and positive 2 cancel, so I'm left with minus 6 over x plus 2 times x minus 2. Now, all of this work has landed me to a fraction that I still need to check if it can be simplified. We simplify by seeing if the top can be factored. These expressions share a 3, so I'm going to factor out 3, and I'm going to get x minus 2 over x plus 2 times x minus 2, and we see x minus 2's cancel. So our final simplified fraction is 3 over x plus 2.